Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes. Well, we've only just returned home from the wonderful UK Games Expo held in the NEC in Birmingham, where we had the most wonderful time and picked up quite a few wonderful looking games too. More on the UK Games Expo in a separate video, and also our Games Hall video coming soon. But the first game we opened and played when we got home was the appropriately named Happy Home from designer Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert, and published by the wonderful Alley Cat Games. Picking up this game at the expo was an absolute no-brainer. I'm such a fan of Matthew and Brett's work. Indeed, you can check out two of their other games on my channel, Pray Another Day and Village Rails, two fantastic games. So when we saw that Alley Cat Games had their latest game right there at the convention, well, there was no hesitation. Money was exchanged and fun in a box secured. Happy Home is a game for 2 to 5 players that lasts around 20 to 45 minutes dependent on the number of players playing. With 2 players we found the game really quick to play, especially after we had laid out all the components to make it easy to quickly identify and grab the right playing places. Once we were up and running, we were playing games in well under 20 minutes, finishing one and then jumping right into another. Happy Home is a game of home decoration. You will be moving around the shop board collecting polyomino furniture tiles that you will place into your home, looking to decorate your living room, kitchen, bathroom and bedroom. While shopping for furniture, you may be very tempted to move further ahead on the shop board to collect that perfect piece of furniture. But be careful. Moving too far ahead will give the other players more turns to collect their furniture, because the person who is in last position on the shop board will always take their turn first. Fulfill easy to understand objectives and complete sets of furniture in each room to score points. The player with the most points at the end of the game is the most creative home decorator and creates a very happy home and wins. Just for you to be aware, there are timestamps for the video in the description below if you would like to jump to any part in particular. But before we look at how to set up and play the game, let's take a Fun with Boxes look at what you get in a game of Happy Home. Setting up the game is really quite straightforward, only I would definitely recommend sorting out all the item tiles into a central area that will make life far easier for you when you play the game, making it easier for people to spot the tile they are looking for. It's well worth the effort. After sorting out all the tiles, everyone chooses a coloured player board and grabs their matching meeple. The boards are coloured on the back but identical on the front. What I love about the player boards is that they give you all the scoring information right at the bottom of your board so that you can easily remind yourself what you are aiming to do during the game. I will cover this in the how to play section, but basically you are collecting sets of furniture for each room, looking to get colours spread across all your rooms, placing potted plants to score additional points, and covering up any scratches in your home, as they will lose you points at the end of the game if they are still visible. Next, unfold the shop board and lay that out onto the middle of the table. It's double-sided, so use the side for the appropriate number of players. For example, I am setting up a 2-player game, so I'm using this side. Use the other side for 3+ player games. Randomly determine who will be the star player and place their meeple onto the first space at the top left of the board, and then going clockwise, each player places their meeple on the next available space. You will notice on the two-player side of the shop board some spaces are occupied by two cards. This is only on the two-player side. A player stopping here would pick one of the two cards and discard the other out of the game. Next, find the 10 starting furniture cards, and you will be able to identify these as they have a key symbol in the top left-hand corner of the cards. Give them a good shuffle and deal out 2 cards to each player, returning any unused to the game box. Each player reveals their 2 cards and then finds the matching tiles and immediately places them onto their board. And I will go through the placement rules in a moment. But living room tiles can only be placed into your living room, kitchen tiles only into your kitchen, and so on. Take the remaining furniture item cards and give them a good shuffle. Then, depending on the number of players, you will remove a certain number of cards, returning these unseen to the game box. For example, you will remove 38 cards in a 2-player game, which is what I have done here. Place the deck of cards remaining face down near the shop board, and then draw cards and place them face up onto the empty slots that do not have player tokens on them, starting with the space next to the leading meeple and going clockwise around the board like this. Next, take the 4 design cards and give them a shuffle. Choose one at random and place it face up beside the shop board. This will be your design objective for the game. Put the 3 other cards back into the box. Then place the 5 little welcome mats face up in a pile in order, with the lowest value mat at the bottom. Finally, grab the score pad and keep that handy to add up the points at the end of the game, and you are ready to play. But now would be a good time to grab a pen or pencil. The aim of the game. Players will take their turns moving their meeples clockwise around the shop board, choosing furniture, rugs and potted plants, and arranging them in the 4 rooms that form their homes, trying to create a very happy home, with each piece of furniture having the potential to score points at the end of the game. The player, of course, with the most points is deemed to have the happiest of homes and is the winner. The player who is at the back of the queue at the shop board is always the active player, so there may be times where a player at the back of the queue may take more than one turn, one after the other, as they move and catch up with the other players. I love this type of turn system. This is just like the one used in the wonderful Aqua Garden game I looked at recently. I like the idea that if there is something you really want to pick up, that you will skip over a number of spaces just to get it, leaving your opponents a number of spaces behind. But then on their turn they have the option of stopping at all the spaces between you and them, so long as they remain at the back of the queue, meaning that you have taken the one thing you really want, but you've left a pile of things that the other players could easily pick up if they wanted, taking multiple turns until they eventually pass you. How to play. The player at the back of the queue is always the active player and gets to take the turn. On your turn, you take the following actions in this order: move, find item, and then take card and place item. Move. You must move your meeple clockwise to any available unoccupied space with an item card. Then you will find the item. Find item. Then you find the item shown on the card at the space where you stop, but you must be able to place that item in a matching room in your home. Otherwise, you cannot take it and must instead continue moving onto another space. Take card and place item. Take the card from the shop board and place it face up in front of you. I like to place them next to the room where I'm going to place the item. Then place the matching item tile onto your home board. Each piece of furniture must be placed in its matching room. The colour and pattern of the tile will need to match the room, and the furniture card will clearly name the room it needs to be placed in. Potted plants and rugs, however, may be placed in any room. You may rotate the tiles before placing them, but you cannot flip them over. Some items must be placed with one edge against the wall, and this is shown with a white line with triangles. You must place every item taken into your home. Once placed, you may not move an item on a later turn, and you cannot place an item over a space with an open door. You cannot place items in the hallway either. And the only item you will place here is the welcome mat right at the end of the game. Once you've completed your turn, draw cards to refill any empty spaces behind the meeple that is now at the back of the queue. If all players have moved past the card without taking it, then you remove it from the game and put it back into the box and replace it with a new card. Game end. Once the furniture deck is all used up, continue taking turns as normal. If on your turn you cannot or choose not to take a card, instead take the topmost valuable welcome mat and place it onto your board. You also take your meeple from the shop board and place it onto your welcome mat. You have now finished playing the game. Once all players have done this and have all their meeples standing on their welcome mats, it's time to score the game, and the handy scoring pad will help you with this. Scoring. Looking at the bottom of the player board, we score for the sets of furniture first. Each room has 3 basic core furniture requirements as shown on the matching cards. For example, in the living room, you're looking to get a nice comfy sofa, a table, and of course a TV. You will score points for each room that has at least 1 core piece of furniture. If you have just 1 core piece of furniture, you will score 1 point. If you have 2, you will score 3 points. And if you have all 3 core pieces of furniture, you will instead score 6 points. And you do this for each of your 4 rooms and put the total scored onto the score sheet. I place my cards next to each room to make scoring easy. I can see at a glance just how many core pieces of furniture I have. For example, I have an oven and a table, so I know that this room will score 3 points at the end of the game. I just need some cupboards and then I will be able to score 6 points instead. Next, we score colours. Look at each colour in turn and check to see how many rooms have that colour. If that colour is in 3 rooms, you score 2 points. But if you have that colour in all 4 rooms, you score 5 points instead. And you do this for all 5 colours and write your total score down on the score pad. I'm really grateful for them including colour symbols on the cards and tiles. This is really helpful if you are colourblind or struggle with certain colours like me. Then we will score potted plants. Any plant will score you 1 point. Plus, it will score for each orthogonally adjacent empty space in the room. An open door space counts as an empty space. Add up any points and add them to your score pad. Next, score your welcome mats. And you simply score the value of your welcome mat and add that onto your score pad. Then we come to the design objective card. Each of these score differently and are explained in the rulebook. For example, if you had perfect fit in play, you will score points if one item is adjacent to at least 3 other items, in which case you score 3 points. But if it's adjacent to 4 items, then you will score 7 points. If you manage to score any points, add these to your score pad. Finally, look for any visible scratches in your home. If you have any, you will lose 1 point for each visible scratch. You are now ready to add up everyone's points, and the person with the most points wins. If there is a tie, the person with the fewest items in their home wins. And if still tied, then the players will share the victory and all have happy homes. Well, there you have it. Happy homes. A nice, easy to play, good looking game that will be fun for all the family. All the components in the game are great. I love the little meeples for the homeowners especially. There are quite a lot of item tiles, so I do recommend, as I said earlier, separating these out to make it easier and quicker to find the right tile you need for your home. Also, between games you will need to give the cards a good shuffle and have to remove a number of them from the game during setup, depending on the number of players. A little fiddly to do, but it's not too much of a chore really. The game plays really quick at 2 players, and if it was not for all the components, would be a great little filler game. But still, once set up, it plays really quickly, and you can play a few games back to back in an hour, which is all very enjoyable, especially when you click with how the game scores. You will want to play again to see just how better you do this game. There are only 4 design objective cards, but they're all quite different, and I see no reason why you could not include, say, 2 cards instead of 1 at setup, just to push the variety. All in all, a cracking, simple and lightweight game from 2 great designers. A furniture moving, fun with boxes, thumbs up from me for this one. I do hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you've not done so already. And as always, please take care and bye for now.